So this is the official start of Unit 4. We're getting a periodic table. You don't need to write Unit 4 on your periodic table. You'll probably want to leave some space. This is going to be your new love-hate relationship. So there will be times where you're looking at this periodic table and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you were with me on that quiz. I really needed you back there. You really saved me. And there's going to be other times where you're like, oh my gosh, this periodic table is driving me nuts. So let me say a couple of things about this. This does not apply to unit tests, and this does not apply to this week's quiz on Thursday. So let me repeat that. This does not apply to this week's quiz on Thursday, which should actually be pretty helpful for your grades. And this does not apply for unit tests, but you are allowed to use your periodic table on all of your quizzes for the rest of the year if you want to. Okay? So you can't use it on unit tests, and you can't use it for this week's quiz, but then after that you can. And that is a really nice advantage because we're going to label this a bunch. We're going to color this in. You're going to take some notes on this. This is going to end up having a lot of helpful information that will be really great to have for a quiz. And you flip to the back side, there's also a bunch of like places for equations and all that kind of good stuff. There's like C values for water. You got the 4.18, all that stuff. So you're going to get to use this. So you're going to want to put this somewhere nice and neat, like in the pocket of your binder or something like that, because you're going to have to get this out like every day. You'll need this like every day. But it'll be really helpful for you on quizzes and stuff. Now, when it comes to a unit test, I'll hand you a blank one, which you can then write all over on the unit test. You guys remember in the pre-test, I did give you one of these. You're probably like, what am I supposed to do with this? But now you'll start to know why you have it. So we're going to have a quiz on Thursday. This quiz is a little bit of memorization of some elements. Now, let me be really clear about a few things. Back in the day, they used to make students memorize like the first like 50, 60, 70, whatever elements. And you had to memorize all the numbers. So you had to know that carbon was element number 6, and that's mass was 12.01. Okay? I'm not going to make you do that. I'm just going to make you memorize the symbol and the name. Okay? So this worksheet I'm going to hand out to you guys here in a second. The symbol and the name we're going to have to know. So your quiz on Thursday, half of it you'll be given symbols, and you're just going to write the name in. Mr. Pilcher, does spelling matter? Kind of. Okay? So if you accidentally spell nickel, N-I-C-K-L-E, which is incorrect for the element, I don't really care that much about that, if you mix up the L-E or the E-L at the end. But, you know, we don't want somebody coming in here and be like, okay, nickel is spelled N-I-C-K, Q1726, my name is Samaya, E-L. Okay, like, it better be in the neighborhood, okay? I don't want, like, a hot mess for the spelling, but I'm not going to be really picky for, like, a tiny little thing where it's really clear what element you're talking about. But some elements are a little similar, like magnesium and manganese. The spelling, I'm going to be a little bit more picky on that because I don't want it to be like, if I can't tell which one you're talking about, I'm going to have to take the point out. Does that kind of make sense? But I'm not going to be too picky about the spelling. Half of the quiz will be I give you a symbol and you just write the name. The other half will be I give you a symbol and all right, I give you the name and then you just write the symbol for me. Okay? No. Now, one thing that's really nice is that you guys actually know a lot of these already. For example, what element is C? What element is that? Carbon. Look, you already know that. What element is O? Oxygen. What about H? Hydrogen. See, look, you guys already know several of the ones that are going to be on the quiz. Like, you can get free points for those like that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Now, there are some of them that have weird names or symbols. So, for example, does anyone know what Cu is? It is copper. Wait, how come copper isn't Co? Because Co is cobalt. Now, the reason why copper is Cu and not Co is because copper was not discovered by someone who spoke English. Okay? So if they didn't speak English when they discovered it, it'll often have a symbol that doesn't quite match up with the English version of the word. Okay? So that's really get a little tricky, and that's why making some index cards, which you don't have to do, but it's highly recommended, can be really helpful for you. Another thing that I want to point out is that symbols are a maximum of 2 letters. The first one will always be capitalized. There's no element XY, by the way. That's just made up. Will always be a capital, okay? I'll just put caps. It'll always be capitalized. If there is a second one, it will always be lowercase. So for example, Luke's right now carbon symbol is just a C. It's not a lowercase c, it's a capital C. But if you're putting out like magnesium, it's capital M, lowercase g. Okay? So I'm going to hand out this worksheet to you. I want you to use your periodic table to fill this out. And I'll be coming around. I'll be real obnoxious with my flashcards here. So I got the names on one side, the symbols on the other. I have index cards around the room. There's kind of some by Nevea over here. And that's what the markers are for if you want to make some index cards. Some people made a Quizlet, like an online index card thing. That's really helpful. But that's what we're looking at for today. So I'll go ahead and pass this worksheet out here. And you guys can go ahead and get started on it.